right, looks like we're getting people in here. Let's get one of you. So we're having some problems posting to Facebook. So if you wouldn't mind, if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere, please tell your friends here. Jared Smith here, Carolina Weather Group, tracking a tornado warning in McCormick and Edgefield counties in South Carolina. So area circulation has just crossed the Savannah River recently around Modoc here, crossing US 221 into Edgefield County. This is roughly State Highway 23 here, kind of this gray line right here. That's Highway 23. This is Highway 230, and this is going to converge into Highway 23. Looks like Edgefield proper, you are not in the warning. This is going to be more towards, right now, looks like more rural spots here. Again, here's this rotation. It's been broadening out a little bit too, which is good news. We've seen it kind of weaken a little bit as it went across Lake Strom-Thurmond here a little while ago. But again, if we put on the rotation display here, we still have decent circulation showing up here. This is the normalized rotation product, NROT. And and this is about 1.21, and that's pretty substantial. That's a pretty good circulation there. So let's go to this. We have the let's kind of do some analysis here. We got the classic donut hole signature. We've got the tornadic vortex, which looks like it's actually trying to tighten back up. So far, no signs of debris on the radar here, but again, right now, not seeing any signs of this being on the ground. However, it is rotating, it is spinning, and could produce a tornado at any time. It has been a very active day across the Southeast. We have had numerous tornado warnings across the Southeast. We have had some pretty nasty storms, some pretty nasty tornadoes, one in LaGrange, Georgia, one in Selma, Alabama. That was very damaging, looked pretty significant and violent there. This is not one of those, but certainly could produce a tornado at any time. We have this weak rotation here. Let me update the storm motion vector real fast so I can clear that up a little bit here. That looks a little bit better as far as the circulation here. Again, this is past 221. Looks like it's going right up the gut on Highway 23. Past Modoc here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And let's zoom in on that some. And right there is the center of circulation. And this is coming up Highway 23. Again, this is going to be mostly, we'll take the radar data off for a second, and we'll kind of, we'll look a little closer at the higher resolution imagery. We'll let that load up. I'll put the radar data back on for a second. But there's your rotation. You see this little donut hole. It's called a B-weir. That's a bounded weak echo-region. This is indicating, this is kind of the eye, so to speak, kind of an eye-like feature. If we were talking about hurricanes, it would be an eye-like feature. And this is, and again, there's the latest scan coming in now. So kind of a broadish rotation. Again, not the most dynamic rotation we've seen today. Further to the west in Georgia and Alabama, where there have been just some intense tornadoes. This is not that, but again, this could produce at any time. So we want folks in this area to be very careful. It looks like Modoc at this point, you're good. Parksville, Plum Branch, down 221 at this point. I think if you're 221 and west, I think you're in good shape. The Weather Service hasn't trimmed back they've not trimmed back the tornado warning yet, but given where this storm is, and given the radar appearance, and looking at some of the other storms down here right now, not really seeing much in the way of anything too concerning on radar. This is the game. This is the main game in town. Reportedly, weather spotters are inbound to this storm to see what they can see. Again, looking at the debris, looking at kind of our debris tracker here. Actually, better one there. This is it's pretty noisy, if nothing else, but there's nothing here. This is the probability of debris signature, and we are not seeing that debris signature probability popping up. And this has been a pretty good, pretty accurate tool today. So this is certainly something that we're going to want to keep a close eye on. All right, so let's take another look, just kind of zoom it out here. We're also dealing with several severe thunderstorm warnings. In fact, let me go to the wide view here. Because again, this is a kind of there we go. This is a storm system that is really moving across. That is moving across much of the southeast here. This afternoon is going to move to the coast. The spotter did report a rotating wall cloud with a funnel over Lake Strom-Thurmond with this. And so there has been a funnel cloud reported with the tornado warned storm that we are talking about right now. So that has been reported into the Weather Service. So that's something that we're going to need to keep a close eye on here as that moves through. But again, kind of looking at the broader view here, and I had to turn a couple things off here for a second. Broader view here, again, long line of thunderstorms near a cold front, very dynamic system. You can see, look at all this cold air behind it. But there's your line right there, and this has prompted numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in the Greenville metro, moving up, getting close to the Charlotte metro area now. These are mostly for damaging winds and hail, and we certainly could see some damaging straight line winds from these, and there could be another round of straight line winds coming in behind the tornado warned storm here. It's a little more isolated storm that's near Edgefield. This is another line of storms that has been warned by the National Weather Service for damaging winds to 60 miles an hour. So that is going to be something that we're going to want to watch here. So we've gotten an update on the tornado warning, and it looks like a couple things to note. We're starting to get a little bit more confidence in the, see the tornado vortex signature. Let me switch back over to the analyst here. The tornado vortex signature is starting to come up and starting to be a little bit more defined here. So the tornado warning continues now for McCormick and Edgefield, and we are getting kind of close to the end of this polygon, and it is conceivable that this could reach into play, that this could move into, could get very close to Edgefield proper. So again, if you're in Edgefield proper, you're right at the edge of this. I would go ahead and start getting into a safe place, getting ready to go into a safe place, because I suspect that there is going to be a warning up shortly. Edgefield all the way up Highway 25 to 378. Saluda, I'd keep an eye on this. Johnston, I'd keep an eye on this, as this storm is exhibiting tight rotation. Still not seeing any debris, but we have this weak echo region right here. It certainly is spinning and is looking pretty good on the rotation product here. Again, we have, let's see, we got, NROT going to about 1.28. So that's a pretty good circulation here. That's a pretty healthy circulation that's showing up here now in western Edgefield County. So again, and this has train spotters have seen a funnel cloud with this storm. Now that's not a guarantee that there is one now, but there has been a funnel cloud reported with this storm, and so we'll need to keep a close eye on that. Let me check the old tweet bot here and just see kind of what's what. Trying to see if there's any reports out there that we can fish out, but nothing yet. But again, if you're seeing anything, please tweet to us at Carolina WX Group. Send us a note on Facebook. We would love to have your reports, and we hope that everybody is taking shelter from this. Again, there's your funnel cloud report right over Lake Strom-Thurmond, and so this is what the circulation looked like as it was going over that, and still fairly tight. And again, we're going to need to watch areas closely. 378 towards Saluda, Edgefield. Edgefield, you really should be getting into that safe place, or getting ready to go to that safe place if a warning is indeed extended down the road here. Highway 430 and Highway 20, US Highway 25 are the ones that are going to be kind of next in line for this, as this is kind of splitting the difference between State Highway 23 and State Highway 283. So kind of just splitting the difference right here. Let me, I should be able to do kind of that. So this is kind of a rudimentary storm track here, and I'll zoom out so make sure that you can see what we're seeing here. And again, this each tick mark is about 15 minutes. So in that 30 minutes or so, based on current, based on the forward velocity of this, and we'll get them. Actually, we can get the latest update from the warning itself as far as storm motion. So 30 to 45 minutes or so, it could get very near Saluda. This right now is staying well west of the Columbia metro area, but again, this is something that we're going to want to watch as we get into the evening hours. Also, just peeking around a little bit. Now we're at a disadvantage today because the Greenville-Spartanburg radar, if you've been watching us and you've been or if you're into this sort of thing, the Greenville-Spartanburg radar has been down and will continue to be down. They had a major part malfunction. Major malfunction on that radar, and so they have had to really let's do this. I just realized that I wasn't doing the right microphone. Whoops. They've had to take that. We are only able to use Columbia radar really. So again, seeing a little circulation near Kynards here around State Highway 56 South. This is in Lawrence County. Not a terribly organized looking storm to this point, but there is some broad rotation with that. And again, these individual storms ahead of this line, these may be the better candidates at this point for possibility for tornadoes. And then behind that, we have the QLCS line. And generally speaking, when we go and look at the when we go look and kind of zoom out and look at the situation as a whole here, we do have a tornado watch in effect for much of the Midlands and upstate here, up into the Charlotte metro, and this is going to go until 10 o'clock. So again, we have a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock, includes Greenville, Charlotte, Columbia. So these areas, if you're not seeing any weather right now, understandable, but keep in mind that this could change on you. This should change on you over the next couple hours. Now we have a new tornado warning out. Let me see if I can take a radar source that has it. Yeah, there's a new tornado warning out. We're going to go to the. Let's see if there's a new polygon right there. So let's zoom in on it here. So here's your new tornado warning. So Edgefield, if we talked about getting into your safe place, now's the time to go. Time to go into your safe place in Edgefield, Johnston, Saluda. Highway 378, roughly between McCormick and Saluda, really all the way into Saluda County. This goes way into Saluda County, really to the edge of the Saluda Newberry line here. Much of Highway 178 through Saluda here is under this warning, and here's your circulation right here again. Looking a little bit broader, let me just recalibrate the storm motion here, and what that does is helps us see the rotation a little bit better, and helps us calculate the storm track. So again, the next 30 minutes, next 15 to 30 minutes or so, Saluda, you're going to be under the gun for this. Edgefield, kind of right now, it's getting very close to Edgefield. It may pass just north of Edgefield. The circulation itself may pass just north of Edgefield, but you don't want to take a chance with this. If your phone just went off, if you're in the polygon or anything like that, go ahead and get into a safe place. If you know somebody in this area, they may not be aware of just the gravity of the situation, give them a ring, give them a call, let them know what's happening. That is always helpful, and so so that is something that is that can be very helpful on a day like today. But again, Edgefield, Johnston, Saluda, really the main areas of concern right now for this storm. It's not the yeah, it's there is a video up on. Yeah, I'm running this alone, so but I'm also keeping an eye on like the Weather Service chat and things like that, and we do have people with a look at it here. So let's see. So again, keeping an eye on this right now. There's your. We'll use the normalized rotation tool, and again, it's pretty tight. Still pretty tight, about 1.13 normalized rotation units, and so that is, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty solid signature there. So again, my name is Jared Smith with Carolina Weather Group. I am coming to you from Charleston, South Carolina, covering these storms in the Midlands and upstate here with you this evening. And then, and so we're just going to kind of update that real quick and put this back on. So again, here is your. So we are in live tornado coverage here on the Carolina Weather Group and various platforms. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or any reports, please hit us up in the chat. I would love to hear your reports. Definitely need to know. It's very helpful to know what's going on. One thing that is helpful to know right now is that the tornado warning has been canceled for McCormick. So there's still an old polygon here, but McCormick County, if you are in McCormick County, you're in the clear. You can, if you were in your safe place or anything like that, if you're in McCormick County, you've been cleared from the tornado warning. So that is good news. Always like to see that. So I expect we'll see the updated polygon here shortly. I might be able to get that a little bit faster on the other source. Let me go to this radar here. And so there it is. So there's your updated polygon again. Saluda kind of right in the line of fire here. Saluda Edgefield. This is getting pretty close to you now in Edgefield. Saluda area. It's not looking quite as impressive as it was a few scans ago. But again, this is going to cross in a matter of minutes here. This is going to cross Highway 25. And is really right along Highway 283 on the way to 25. So if you were on Highway 283 coming to 25, that's certainly the concern there. So, and again, we're starting to get some questions here, and we do have some thunderstorms. We have a question here asking around Anderson about Anderson. There are some thunderstorms in Anderson, as you can see here, coming through, but they are sub-severe. All right, new tornado warning. We have a new tornado warning now. This was the storm that we were looking at a few scans ago, actually, that I had kind of been taking a peek at around Kynards, it looks like. I want to wait for that. Let's. This is near Whitmire here. This is not the best. There it is right there. There's your circulation near Joanna, just on Highway 76 around Joanna at the interstate, at the intersection of State Highway 66 and US 76. So Joanna, there's your circulation here. New tornado warning now. This is going to go just to the west of Whitmire, it looks like. But if you're on Highway 66 between Joanna and Whitmire, probably a good idea to find a place to stop if you can, especially as you approach Highway 76. So again, there's your circulation right there, starting to become a little bit better defined here. Getting a TVS alert now on this cell as well. So the radar is finding a tornado vortex signature. Interestingly, I mean, this doesn't look like much. That's the crazy part, is that when you look at it on reflectivity, this does not look like a majorly severe storm. We can tilt up and there, and a lot of that is kind of happening aloft. That's kind of interesting for sure. But again, this is going to get. But once this passes 76, this is going to cross I-26 very shortly, actually, and I should be able to. Let me do this here. Do I have this loaded? Yes, I do. All right. I have that loaded. So this is going to get close. So I've got the exits up here. It's going to get close to exit 60 on I-26. And this is going to be exit 60 for Highway 66 towards Joanna and eastbound towards Whitmire. So yeah, again, really just around 60 is where we expect that to happen. Now, again, this is not impressive by any stretch of the imagination on reflectivity. And I honestly wonder if something's wrong. I wonder if we're being attenuated in some way. But it certainly seems like, it certainly seems like that we have there is a potential for for the possible tornado here. I mean, we're looking at, let me go back to the analyst here, and you can see the normalized rotation on this, and this is pretty substandard, pretty decent rotation. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that as it approaches I-26. Let's go back down to our Edgefield storm. This one is starting to look a little bit more disorganized on radar, and that's a good thing. Still a decently tight couplet here, still some gate-to-gate shear. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Extreme close-up. I just wanted to put a marker there so I could kind of, looking at the shear here is, nothing really too, certainly nothing violent by any stretch of the imagination, but there still could be something that could pop down. The circulation has crossed 25 at this point and is headed towards State Highway 430. And so 378, Saluda, you would be next. This is just passing to the north of Edgefield proper. Again, we'll take the radar data off, and you can see, kind of get the satellite view. Here's Edgefield, again, mostly rural. As we get through here, there are some homes, there are some farming, there's some agriculture, obviously, agricultural interest here. This one is looking a little less impressive over time, and the Joanna one just, I mean, that's just, we'll bounce back to that one on the other radar view. I mean, this is certainly not normal. This is not something. I mean, it's basically a shower, capable of producing a tornado here. And this was issued by Greenville, I believe. So, again, Greenville, we are all right. So, funnel cloud was sighted. So this is based off of a amateur radio report of sounds like a funnel cloud was seen here with this storm. So again, this is moving northeast at 25. It's going to be near Kynards and is really getting close to exit 60 now as we zoom in a little bit closer here. So here's exit 60. Here's your circulation. Again, not the greatest, but this is going to, well, that certainly looks a little bit better now, doesn't it? Again, the signal is weak, so I'm having a hard time if it's noise or something else. But if there is a circulation here, it's certainly going to be right here. It looks like it's just crossed I-26 and is headed on the way to Highway 72. Again, if you're in Whitmire, you are not in this warning. Whitmire, you are going to be to the east of all of this. You're going to stay east of this over in Whitmire. So we're going to want to watch that closely. Again, we'll keep an eye on this one here. We'll bounce back to the other storm, kind of doing both right now. And so again, here's a storm that's headed towards Saluda. And yeah, you're just looking at that circulation. Not exactly the best looking circulation you'll ever see, but there's still a bit of a donut hole here, a little bounded weak echo region right there. Put the storm track on it. So again, you're within about 15-20 minutes now of Saluda. You're going to see some heavy rain, maybe a little bit of hail ahead of it. And then on the south side of it, you probably would see there's that potential for a brief tornado is maximized heading towards Saluda here in the next little bit. Newberry, Chapin, right now you're good, but again, you're going to want to keep an eye on this further down the road. It's hard to say if this is going to stay organized at this point. And again, let's let me do this. So again, we can just get some stuff reconfigured here. We'll go back to the satellite radar view and our observation. So again, here's your storm system here. We have a tornado watch in effect for the upstate. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings along this line here, stretching really from, broken line stretching from Pensacola, Florida, up through Macon, Georgia, where there was tornado warning near there earlier, up through Greenville, and starting to get into Charlotte now. And as we look at the let me grab the observations here real quick. And we had a question come in about wind gusts in Charlotte, and so I want to put that up here. Let's see what we can find here. So Charlotte is reporting 17 knots, gust to 22 knots. So roughly 25, I want to say, 5 miles an hour there. Right now we have Hickory is gusting to approaching 30 miles an hour there. And you can kind of see the wind shift too. I'll go back to the regular wind view, and you can see where the wind shift happens in the immediate vicinity of this. So strong, good feed of moist and unstable air moving into Charlotte. Um, but again, the storms to the kind of on the southern flank of this, these isolated guys here are the ones that are causing the major issue at this point. As far as tornado warnings go. So again, let's go back to this Joanna storm for a second. I'm taking a closer look at that. That's a very tight circulation. Uh, no sign of any, no real sign of any debris on here. But I got to tell you, this is this is a weird one, man. This is unusual for sure, because these are basically showers that have a rotation embedded in them. This is now, if you're in Joanna, I think it's good to call you clear at this point. Really, if you are west of I-26, you're clear on this storm. It's approaching Highway 72 now. Yeah, there's that lapse, and so that's been quite a that's quite a little tight rotation there. And again, there has been a funnel cloud reported with that. So. At times. So that's certainly something that we're going to want to keep a very close eye on. And meanwhile, further to the north, you have severe thunderstorm warnings just for damaging straight line winds, and that's coming through now. Spartanburg, Gaffney, you're in right now, headed towards Union and York. New severe thunderstorm warning now for Lincolnton, Gastonia, Clover, Shelby, Delwood. You're kind of in the heat of it right now in those areas. And so again, we're going to be seeing that come into play here. And again, we're seeing winds generally coming in from the south, about 20 miles an hour, gusting 25. In the Charlotte metro, again, we'll go back to the velocity view to take a look. Another look again. This is going to be getting more towards a rural area, but State Highway 72 is going to be next in line for this. This holds up. I mean, we could see this get extended even further up into Union County. So we'll have to keep an eye on that carefully. And let's see. New and another severe thunderstorm now. Storm warning for Catawba, Iredell, and Lincoln County. And again, we do not have the radar coverage that we're used to. We got a big problem with radar right now, with the Greenville radar being down is certainly an issue. So let's go back to the analyst here real quick. Let's bounce back to our Edgefield storm. And again, we're working 2 tornado warnings. We have one in Lawrence County, and we have one in Edgefield County and Saluda County. And this storm is continuing to show some signs of rotation. Some, it's certainly not as potent as it was. We'll turn on the normalized rotation. It looks a little bit more disorganized, and that's a good thing. But there's still some evidence here that this storm is spinning, and so they are keeping the tornado warning on it for now. So we'll see, what it does. If this weakening trend continues, I suspect that we'll see this warning drop. We can at least get rid of one of these tornado warnings. But again, if you're in Saluda right now, a good place to be is your safe place. I think Edgefield, you're in good shape at this point. The storm has now moved north to your north and east. So if you're in Edgefield, people in Edgefield, it's all good there for now. But again, there's going to be another round of storms coming in that'll be capable of producing some damaging wind gusts, and that's going to come in over the next hour or so. So you're not done yet. If you've been in one of these tornado warnings, you're not necessarily done with any severe thunderstorms yet. We still have that line to go. Once that line gets through, there actually has been another line behind it, but that is looking a little bit weaker. And it should be progressively, this whole thing will be progressively getting weaker as it gets closer to the coast. My home base is Charleston. We keep keeping an eye on this, not really expecting the threat for severe weather to make it to the coast at this point. Storm Prediction Center. We can go. Let's actually let me switch to that real quick, and we can take a look at the convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And again, we just had those general thunderstorms now. Charleston metro area, marginal risk extending into kind of the eastern Midlands and parts of the extreme western parts of the PD. Your main risk is going to be in this yellow area, the slight risk, and that's where we have the tornado watch. And the greater risk for severe thunderstorms has been towards Atlanta. Looking at the watches here again, tornado watches in effect until 10 o'clock. Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia, um, Augusta, Hickory, all these areas under a tornado watch. It's not yet known if that tornado watch is going to extend further into Greensboro or Raleigh. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Again, I think the thinking is that it's going to weaken a little more and really make that tornado watch unnecessary. So again, we have 2 tornado warnings on the board here. We have the one in Edgefield and we have the one near Whitmire that's going to stay out of Whitmire. We'll go back to the Whitmire storm real quick. I'm going to get a fresh look at that. We're starting to see some signs of this taking on maybe a little bit more of that traditional look there. There's your hook echo. There's a little bit of a shower activity along the edge of it, but the rotation is progressively weakening with this. Really not much to write home about here now. And and so we'll see. I'm not sure if Greenville is going to extend this warning into Union County. I think we're just going to have to take a wait and see on that. But yeah, if there's going to be anything here, it's going to be right here. To the directly to the west of Whitmire down Highway 72, just crossed Highway 72. And if there is a circulation here, it's about to cross into Union County, but that's a big if. It's very weak looking circulation, and I wonder if it's starting to get some effects from storms around Gray Court, Woodruff, heading up into Gaffney. So that's going to be something that we're going to want to keep an eye on. There, let's switch back to our Saluda storm here. And again, we're continuing to watch this for the potential for rotation. The tornado warning does continue until 6:15 in this area. So again, let's see. Go back to the velocity, and this really is looking much weaker. I suspect that if this trend continues, we'll be able to lose this tornado warning a little early. And if we can do that, that would be great. So you can see before, I mean, I can give you a little before and after. When this thing was really spinning up, we had the reds on here. That was the NROT over 1, and that's usually pretty substantial. As it moved towards the northeast, though, it has weakened considerably. We're not seeing those bright red colors anymore. We're not seeing that really intense red there. It's starting to kind of fall apart. And both tornado warnings have been canceled at the same time. That's pretty cool. All right, so no more tornado warnings on the board. So that's exceptional news. We'll have to wait to hear if there's any damage. But again, we'll take with tornado warnings coming off the board, let's take a wider view real quick before we sign off of here. Take it back to the regional view. And again, tornado watch until 10 o'clock, upstate Midlands of South Carolina, getting into the Piedmont of North Carolina, including the Charlotte metro area. Line of thunderstorms, pretty potent line of thunderstorms still, with a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings along it. Damaging straight line winds and hail is a certain possibility. And again, there is the potential for this to potentially spin up a brief tornado on the leading edge of the line. So that's going to be something that we're going to be keeping an eye on throughout the night. And so yeah, so that's going to be, it's just going to be kind of a rough evening here. This is going to get closer. This is going to get closer to the coast overnight. Instability will fade, and the upper dynamics are going to weaken a little bit. So that should help modulate that severe threat as you get into places like Hilton Head, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, over towards eastern North Carolina. Not expecting as much there. We have a new meso discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. Let me see what this is about. So again, this is all right. Yeah. So reading just got an updated discussion from the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see this outline here, this pink outline. It is possible that the tornado watch could be extended into the Raleigh metro area, is basically what this is saying. Raleigh and Greensboro, the Storm Prediction Center is considering issuing another tornado watch further to the east. So we'll keep an eye on this as well. But for now, we are at this point free of any tornado warnings really across the country. And I would love it. I would love nothing more than for that to stay that way at this point. So again, just peeking at some of the last updates here. Again, we're going to go ahead and sign this off for now with no additional tornado warnings in the area. We'll take another look at kind of the higher resolution radar, and I suspect that we're going to be in okay shape for the next little bit. Not really seeing anything jump out at me with the rotation tool. There's a couple spots that have still have some spin around Whitmire here, but again, nothing crazy there. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's hot off the presses, hasn't even shown up on my system yet. But this is going to include Aiken, Edgefield, and McCormick and Saluda counties for the line of thunderstorms that is coming in with 60-mile-an-hour winds. Just popped up on the screen here, and you can see kind of barely clipped Saluda here, but there's your severe thunderstorm warning, and here's the line of storms. Small hail to penny size as possible, as well as 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So McCormick, getting close to Edgefield here in a little bit. The town of McCormick, Parksville, Plum Branch, Modoc, again, Meriwether, Willington. You're in line for another round of heavy storms. Once this gets through, it'll calm down, and I suspect that your severe weather threat will be diminishing after that. So again, something to watch there closely. But right now, again, taking a look at the velocities, don't see anything spinning, and that's what we love to say. I mean, that's my favorite thing to be able to tell you guys, is that there's nothing spinning. So for the next little bit, though, just especially in the Midlands and upstate, hunker in. You have tornado watch until 10 o'clock or until it's canceled first. So keep an eye out, keep an ear out. You know, if you're going to go to bed a little bit early, make sure you have a way to get warnings that can wake you. No weather radio is the best way to do it. You can also, keep your phone handy for that as well. So again, right now though, we're looking good aside from the ongoing severe thunderstorm warning. So we're going to go ahead and call it a stream. Thank you for joining me, Jared Smith, out in Charleston, South Carolina, for the Carolina Weather Group. If it hits the fan again, then we'll be back. So again, thank you very much, and we will see you all. Hopefully we won't see you tonight. Hopefully we'll just join you next week with the Carolina Weather Group. And by the way, if you haven't seen our chat with Jim Cantore, go back on YouTube and check that out. It's amazing. It's pretty fantastic. Aired that last night, so definitely something we'd love for everybody to watch. So, all righty. Well, that'll do it for now, and we'll be keeping an eye on the sky along with you. And be safe, and we'll talk soon.